Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect. Today is episode 23 on November 24th, 2019, and I am Duds or Duds Versus to the rest of the internet. Today we have a special guest. Aubni is joining us.
Hello.
Alright, Aubni, we're here to talk some Minecraft. What have you been up to this week?
What I've been up to, I made it's been a while since I've done that, but I made 2 videos in the same week. I'm pretty impressed with myself doing that.
Nice.
I made my classic Ripple 2.5, and I also started a new series where I make suggestions on like how to improve stuff that I think could need improving. A series that was clearly inspired by this podcast, by the way.
Considering that's all we talk about here.
Exactly. And also, I've been playing on Ripple, and I've also been started playing Techtopia a little with my buddy Dev. We haven't actually started the Techtopia part, but we're gonna do something about that soonish.
Yeah, awesome. I've looked into the Techtopia. I have trouble putting out one episode in like a month, so starting a new series, I don't think that'd be something for me. But I like the idea of doing something like that. I thought about doing like. Because I keep talking about wanting to live stream more during the week, about doing just a live streaming type world, and maybe playing with something like Techtopia would work.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Actually, you could probably join us. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, I've been doing my weekly stream. I am working on an episode that's a clock tower. And one of my streams, me and Bank did the Redstone for it. Finishing basically the exterior of the base, I'm really liking how my base is turning out. I think it's probably the best looking one I've done so far.
It's really cool. I can approve.
Mm-hmm. Even though there's not a walrus statue there anymore, huh?
Yeah, that's just sad, but yeah, have to deal with it.
Yeah, I've come up with some Ripple 2.5 ideas. I think I kind of know how I'm going to play the new way.
Awesome.
And then I actually delved into villagers, tried breeding them and getting their enchantments. And yeah, it's weird to start over with villagers when you know this, like, hey, this is the way it's been done for years. Now you're doing it a different way. Like, I immediately went, all right, I need to get my carrot and potato farms back up and going so I can trade emeralds and all that good stuff. No, I've got a, stonecutter mason guy who... I can trade stone for emeralds, and then I've got a armorer guy who would, he'll trade iron for emeralds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just farming iron and stone now.
Yeah, that's a fun part of it. You get a lot more ways to get emeralds, not just paper and veggies.
Yeah. And so I like that a lot more. Plus, I don't need a ton of villagers anymore, because I'm finding like the more I trade with them, a lot of them have the good trades as a secondary or even a third trade. Mm-hmm. Instead of it being like that one villager had that one really good trade, so that's it.
Plus, it's easier to just pick the one that you need.
Yeah,
you just replace the workstation until you get a good first trade, and
Well, I sat there, so I'm like, all right, I need Feather Falling 4. I put the lectern down, look at him, break it. I just keep going over, and then he stopped changing. I went, oh no, what happened? I didn't realize that they can only change on their work schedule.
Right. Yeah.
So I sat there, it was nighttime, sat there for the next 10 minutes going, what the heck did I do wrong? Stupid villagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Swabby, who barely plays Minecraft, comes in and goes, yeah, it's the time of the day. I'm like, wait, you're not supposed to be telling me how to play Minecraft. Yeah, that was it. It was just me being stupid and not reading up on the villagers before I started playing with them.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm. I'm very much a bash my head against the wall till I figure it out kind of person.
Yeah, I can totally understand. Can totally relate.
Yeah, but let's move on because we do have some Minecraft news. We have 1.15 pre-release 1, also known as the Buzzy Bees or Busy Bee. I don't know what Mojang was thinking, but it's the bee update. So some of these things include the white glow around the buttons, kind of like what's that arrow you can shoot that lights up mobs?
glowing arrow? Is that
yeah,
it?
the glow effect one. Anyways, the buttons will do that now instead of that blue hint or hue or whatever when you hover over the buttons.
Mhm.
So now there's a white glow. I actually saw that, and I really like that because it just makes it easier to see.
Mhm.
I wish they would change the glaring bright white Mojang screen, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Never noticed that it was annoying.
Well, I keep my room really dark,
Okay.
so I start up Minecraft, and when I see it go to that screen, I just like close my eyes. Cause why is the power of the sun on this game? Yeah,
Yeah.
they did
No.
optimize chunk rendering and explosions.
Cool.
That I saw that having Xuma played around with the explosions, and the fact that you can finally see more than one TNT explode without lagging a game is really cool. But I'm hoping that transfers into the chunk rendering and loading, because that's my biggest gripe is when you're flying around a server with multiple people on, even if it's a beefy chunky server, chunk loading still sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know how many times I've flown into a mountain and almost died because of chunk rendering.
Yeah. Same here. Always end up smashing my face in a huge witch statue or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm all for that. The dark prismarine crafting recipe was changed so it more matched bedrock, which to me, I don't think they're changing it to match bedrock. I think they just kind of forgot to update that recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So the recipe now is the prismarine shards with the ink sac in the middle, and all they're doing is changing the ink sac to black dye.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I kind of liked the ink sac because it meant you basically giving a reason for the ink sac other than just to make black dye. But
but you can still use it to get book and quills, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Or they're going to change that to black dye 9 too.
I think ink makes more sense than dye.
I think so too. But I mean, it does mean you can now have more ways to get dark prismarine, because dark prismarine is like my second or third favorite block. I use it all the time.
Yeah, totally agree with you there.
Yeah,
it's fun to have. Although, I think ink sacs are still a better way to get dark, to get black dye. I think it's still easier to get it that way than with what is it, with the wither roses, where like you need to get a wither to kill like some mob.
Yeah, and see, I've always complained about black dye. Like, why can't I use coal and turn that into a black dye, even if I have to mix it with some other item?
Could be interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me get a cauldron filled with water and throw black coal in there, and then black dye comes out. That would be really cool to me.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
I think so. I mean, coal is everywhere, so I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, Mojang skates this fence of we don't want you to farm items, but at the same time we want you to farm items.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they were to be able to make coal black dye, then you'd have no reason to farm squid or wither roses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, I mean, coal becomes quite useless after some point, unless you decorate with coal blocks, but
yeah,
you don't need it that much.
You say that, and I've got a double chest just absolutely slammed full of coal, because I don't use coal for anything. I'm using the dried kelp block for furnaces, and if I'm not using dried kelp block, you can sure bet I'm using blaze rods.
Yeah.
To me, blaze rods are still... Yeah, or lava. Blaze rods, if you have a decent blaze farm, are the best fuel source in the game still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kelp blocks are nice, and they were a fun gimmick, because they're easy to farm, but the having to cook the kelp and then craft the blocks, blaze rods to me are still better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. I never used them as fuel, but I personally use lava instead. I just get loads of the stuff, fill chests for my my smelters, and just use that stuff instead.
Yeah, I used lava a lot, but to me, I would be counting the blocks to make sure it was the correct amount for the bucket of lava, so it would
Yeah.
be super efficient. And if anyone's watched my episodes of stream, you understand I can't count. So it's like that was just a bad marriage to start with. I just need to go with something I can just throw a bunch of stuff in, and that happens to be kelp blocks or blaze rods.
Yeah. But I mean, if you like, you wanna, you get like, you get an infinite iron and you just need lava, you just empty out a lava lake and you really get a lot of the stuff.
That's true.
So you don't really need to count.
That's true. And with a lot of my base building being underground or even digging nether tunnels, you'd probably find just a ton of source lava there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. There's our 2-minute rant on fuel sources.
Yep.
Also, the resource pack in pre-release 1 has been updated to resource pack 5. I don't know what they changed in the resource pack, but yeah, it got updated again. So basically everything says non-compatible in your texture packs.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, we just sat here and talked about fuel sources, and I totally skipped over the fact that scaffolding now burns 2 blocks in a furnace instead of just 1. That's also updated.
Yeah, something to make you happy. Burning scaffolding.
Yeah. I said I used scaffolding a decent amount the last couple days building this clock tower.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I hate scaffolding because I build everything with half slabs because I don't like to have to super light everything up. And so half slabs, I don't have to worry about mob spawns.
Yeah, I totally understand.
They should make it where you can kind of hover the scaffolding block and jump into it and use it, but I don't know. Also,
it could be improved, yeah.
Yeah, you only get 6 or 8 blocks horizontally before the scaffolding starts falling again.
Yeah, when I need to make long distances, I just put a block at the end, like I put all the scaffolding until they start falling. Put another solid block at the end and put more scaffolding on top. Yeah. So it just it ramps up a little, but it works, and you don't have to use tons of scaffolding to just
That's true.
Make that path longer.
That's true. But see, I'll break all the scaffolding down and forget I have that random block there.
Yeah.
So then I'll have to use scaffolding to get back up. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. That could happen, yeah.
Well, you gotta think like duds, and it's a very dumb way to think. Just, what would a noob do?
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, but that's all for pre-release 1. Except, I think they've set a tentative date of December 10th as the release date for 1.15.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sticking to their 1.15 will be out before the holidays, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing.
Mainly, I'm not excited for bees at all, or the honey block. I'm more excited for the optimized rendering.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Because I am always in a laggy area for some reason. I tried not to build laggy, but it happens.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, so we have a Discord. You know, that awesome communication device on your computers. It's a great place to hang out with fellow Wither Effect members. Talking's hard, okay? So we're doing this early in the morning, which I'm not used to, so bear with me. It's a great place to hang out with fellow see? Holy cow. Fellow Withering Effect members and ask the people who work on the episode's questions. It is the best way to get in contact with us, and we are always... who wrote this? Carl, did you change this? We always love to hear from you guys. So, yeah, there's my horrible ad. I want to say we put an ad on the Discord for people who want to record themselves doing an ad for us. So we're not always having to say it because obviously I have trouble talking. Talking's hard. So if you guys want to be a part of that, message me or Carl, and we'll get you set up with a script to read and cool, fun stuff. Decoy's working on some music for it. It's gonna be
Really?
awesome.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Decoy is the best in the fact that I always go, hey, I've got this crazy idea. Can you do this? And Decoy's just like, yep, give me a week.
Yeah.
He's already come out with a lot of the interlude music, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah, he's awesome. He's made already 2 songs for some of my games. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, he just wrote music for me. It's just this guy's awesome.
Yeah, this dude's brilliant. If you guys aren't watching his single player, All I've Never Done, you really should, because he looks at the game a lot differently than a lot of us look at it, and I get a lot of ideas and inspiration from it.
Mm-hmm. He's really
But talking about the Discord, we put out a message. So this week's topic, because we have Aubni on, is all about Redstone, because I consider Aubni Redstone genius.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Because just yesterday night I was watching YDYT stream.
Mm-hmm.
She makes doors, and I didn't understand anything. Like with piston doors, so I don't think I'm a Redstone genius.
Okay.
But thanks.
We got stuck in your stupid room for weeks, so yeah.
Yeah, that
take
was
the compliment on me.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Okay, but we asked you guys what you would improve for Redstone. The overwhelming thing you wanted us to talk about was comparing Java Redstone to Bedrock Redstone, and I can go ahead and tell you we can't do that. Neither Aubni or I play Bedrock and have no intentions of playing Bedrock. So I would have had to sit there and watch a ton of Bedrock videos on Redstone. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, same for me. I don't have a console. I don't have any way to play Minecraft Bedrock, so sorry.
We'll quote the Redstone genius YDYT in saying, Bedrock Redstone is random and stupid, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, that quote was taken out of context. Don't care. But yeah, Bedrock is, the least little better I could say is it's the same as Java, except quasi-connectivity is jacked. It works really different when it comes to that, so...
Really? Cool.
I want to say quasi-connectivity doesn't exist in the Bedrock version, and that's why they had observer blocks.
Okay.
And then we got observer blocks, so the insanity ensued.
Yeah.
But Omni, you picked out a couple comments you wanted to read from the Discord.
Well,
about.
We got some comments by J-Man. He had a few suggestions. Do you want to read the suggestions, or
Well, J-Man's suggestions are 3 paragraphs long.
Yeah.
So
there's
we'll
2
brief
messages like that. Yeah, there's a counter or timer block.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about a dispenser minecart, although I'm not sure how that would work, but sure, maybe. A detection block or sorter block. So something that activates or deactivates when it receives a certain item, so making item sorters a lot simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Then he talks about cobalt or bluestone or some other redstone.
Mm-hmm.
But he says it should be a nether or an end thing. Something like that. So that's an interesting take on that. So not just the same thing as redstone. That's kind of what I had to mention about that as well. It's I don't want it to be just redstone but blue. It needs to be something else. It takes the same function. It connects differently between both, but they're not the same thing. With the exact same components and stuff like that. So yeah,
I was thinking about that. So I agree with having something quote unquote like bluestone, but instead of it being redstone but blue, maybe having a bluestone signal be twice as effective. So if a redstone signal is a 1-to-1 ratio, a bluestone would be 2-to-1. So instead of 15 being like max power. Maybe bluestone is 30 or 32 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
So now you have longer lengths of redstone, or maybe you could use less bluestone to lock a repeater or a comparator in subtract mode, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm not sure about a filter block.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, item sorters they've been, what was it, Impulse SV's item sorters been the standard for 5 years now?
Yeah, something like
if
that. If
not more. And I think they're basically as compact as they're going to get. And I think if you compact them too much, it's going to be just like modded.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same thing for me. The ideas that I had would, well, I think improvements would need to be more general than just one specific function.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea for the suggestions that I'm going to have later during the episode. But yeah, having something that just has one specific use, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, the timer block I kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
Etho with the hopper clock has kind of, again, been the standard for a while. But you can also have the comparator decay clock, which I use a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could have something do that without needing, 1, 2, 4 redstone and 2 comparators, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's got to do more than one thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll pulse a signal or hold a signal long. I don't know. Redstone's, I can do basic redstone, but advanced redstone is complete foreign territory for me. It's like speaking Spanish.
Yeah. Well, I had kind of an idea that could help make counters like that a bit easier. Mm-hmm. One of my ideas, I'm going to look at my suggestions. It's a component that, when powered, it sends increasing power. So, like every tick or every 2 tick, it increases the power by 1 as long as it's being powered.
Okay.
And like once it's full, you could it stays full, but you could unpower it to restart or something like that could be an easier way to make clocks, and you could adjust the delay between each increase. So I think that could be really cool. That could be worked into a counter or timer block, as Jamin suggested.
Yeah. One idea I had, I know I'm kind of skipping around because we're still on listener comments, but so the way I've learned electrical circuits and redstone at the same time is because a lot of redstone components easily transfer to electrical circuits.
Yep.
Such as a repeater acts a lot like a diode in real life. Granted, a diode doesn't give you a full power signal strength, but it keeps electricity going in one direction instead of coming back on itself. So I like the idea of maybe having something like a capacitor. And now a repeater kind of does the work of a capacitor in the fact that it'll get a signal and then full power, whatever. But a capacitor, when it pulses constantly. And now it just pulses so fast we can't tell, but I mean, it gets full power and then dumps all of its power and then charges up and then dumps all of its power and charges up and dumps all of its power. So a pulsing block could be cool. Granted, you can do that with an observer, kind of, but doing the 2 observers face to face or whatever, that creates the pulse.
Yeah.
But a single block to do that would be kind of cool for me.
Yeah, but yeah, I never thought of a capacitor. That's a really, really good idea. Something that works like that. Like, as long as it's powered, it kind of increases its power, and then you can... Yeah. That's a great idea. That would be fun. Something to work with. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. A lot of people said bluestone, so I want to read off names. Daddy3260 mentioned bluestone or cobalt. Also mentioned redstone up walls, which I'm 100% for. If the new, like, what we're calling end redstone or nether redstone or bluestone could travel vertically on walls, that would give it a new function.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that idea.
Redstone doesn't have, but this one has it. It could be interesting. The idea that I
Mhm.
had was just to have like sticky redstone. So you mix redstone with slime, and it becomes sticky. And kind of a drawback of that was that it could, since it's kind of diluted redstone, the power lowers by 2 every block instead of lowering by 1. So it's kind of a drawback. Like something more balanced. You know, you want to have vertical redstone, you have to deal with that, but it's gonna have instant power transmission.
Yep, I like that.
It
I like the give or take.
Yeah, but yeah, that having bluestone is bluestone can go up walls, but it doesn't mix with redstone directly. That could be cool as well.
It could be very cool if done right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting like all this phlegm in my throat from waking up still. Jimbo also mentioned a reliable way to have wireless redstone. I really like this idea. If, say, you craft 2 blocks, or craft a certain block, and within, I don't know, a 15 block radius, if that block gets powered, the same block that you have, I don't know, say you have like 5 dispensers, and you power 1 dispenser, and then 3 of the other dispensers are within a 15 block radius, those 3 would also get powered. That could be really cool and fun to play with.
Yeah, like or you could have like an emitter and a receptor, and when the emitter turns on, every receptor in the area, like in the, I don't know, like or so it could go with the power level that you send in the emitter. It increases the range.
Oh, that's so much better, because, I mean, I picked 15 because that's kind of the power range for redstone. But if you could choose the amount of power you want to send in to it to change the radius, that could create a lot of really cool timing circuits.
Yeah, totally.
I want it now. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about wireless systems, but now I am.
Yeah. Now Minecraft is broken to me. I need wireless redstone, and I need red dragons.
Your list is getting longer and longer.
I know, totally unplayable
every episode. Also, J-Man had another suggestion, a delay block. So something that would have a delay, but longer than a repeater. I think he said something like it doesn't have the same, it puts out the same power level as like the input and the output have the same power level, just a longer delay. That I'm not totally sure, because I think it's, we already have repeaters for that, so I don't know, like that specific functionality, but it could be fun to have something that, like, have that be a part of some other component.
Yeah, it's kind of like combining a comparator and a repeater, right? Because the comparator does whatever you put in is what it sends out.
Yeah.
So if you were to be able to choose a delay on a comparator, yeah,
it could be.
I could see where it'd be useful, but at the same time, I think you just making redstone super easy to make redstone super easy. Of course, a lot of these suggestions are going to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Every suggestion has great upside and also some downside.
Yeah.
Frankly, Squirrel has also talked about vertical redstone and then a timer block like the hopper clock. We mentioned that earlier. Yeah. He did mention, or she, I'm not sure, said have it so you can set the timer block like you do a note block, how you kind of punch it and it changes the note.
Ah, that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that feature.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then now we're into the everyone wants us to talk about Bedrock Redstone. It's like, sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint.
I can barely learn Java Redstone. I cannot learn Bedrock Redstone at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any Redstone YouTubers that do Bedrock, and I can't think of any.
I think Mumble tried once a few years ago. I'm not sure. I don't really remember.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry. We can point you to Java Redstone all day. Obviously, if you need a door, go to YDYT.
Yeah. totally.
If you want to get locked in a room for hours on end, go to Aubni.
Yeah, that's my specialty. Making people miserable.
For weeks on end.
Yeah.
Did anyone else beat that room?
Not yet. Because, well, Dev was working on it with you at one point, but he watched the video where I made a walkthrough video of that game, so he watched it, so he kind of spoiled it for himself. I know Jimbo started it, Marlo started it as well, but I think that's about it. I'm not sure.
Well,
but no one else beat it.
I have almost completely forgotten how to beat that game.
Yes,
so
you could try it again.
Anyone wants help, I'll be able to try to get it. From what I can tell, we're going to be talking about that game a little bit later too. So
yeah,
we're going into what we like, dislike, and our improvements for Redstone.
Mm-hmm.
Aubni, being the good guy he is, wrote down a ton of stuff. So we're going to go through Aubni's stuff because my Redstone's like, duh, make it easier. So, yeah, let's start with you. What are some things you like about Redstone?
Things I like about Redstone is it's not something very like there are many quirks with it. We hinted at quasi connectivity earlier, but there are many things to exploit and to mess around with. As you might know, I do a lot of mini games, so I love working with those little mechanics like comparator update detectors that no one knows, or well, not no one, but not many people know that thing exists. So that's one of the things that I really like. And
to put that in perspective, I just learned about comparator update detectors yesterday watching Azuma Void's 1.15 pre-release update video. Because I guess those were broken in the snapshots. But they are now fixed for the pre-releases.
Cool, because you did use comparator update detectors at one point in solving one game that I made.
See, didn't know it.
Yeah. And also it really adds like a depth to a build. Like you can make it more automatic. You can move things around. So it's not just, hey, I have a house. Look at my house. No, it's got some machines in it. It's got some stuff working inside that house. So that's really what I like about Redstone. I think in my my interest in Redstone.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my base, and I don't think you can walk into a room without there being some kind of redstone machine in the room, which is probably why my base lags me so much.
It depends if they're always running, but yeah. Maybe.
No, I'm nice enough as a server mate not to have my machines constantly running. But to me, Redstone, you're right, it brings so much depth to games. And I've played other survival games where they try to replicate Redstone and use like electricity or something like that, and it doesn't feel the same. And to me, without Redstone, I think a lot of people would have stopped playing Minecraft a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it really kind of puts it in perspective, the fact that Redstone hasn't changed a lot since they first implemented it. There's been a couple blocks here or there that they've installed, with like the observer block being one of the most recent, the target block coming in 1.15.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to playing with those. It's in 1.15 or 1.16?
I thought it was 1.15. I'm sure I'll get corrected and stuff if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
I'll have to check that out. Because if it's in 1.15, I'm very happy.
Yeah. But yet, redstone circuits are still constantly changing. I mean, you look at the Sidecraft guys, and the second there's any little change to redstone, they've broken the game.
Yeah.
And they've now made these ultra farms that can do, like, honey blocks, to me, are the other big redstone that's not really redstone that's changing the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those guys came up with the crazy machines already using honey blocks. I'm sure I've seen a couple ginormous doors created with using honey blocks and slime together.
Different flying machines and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I praise Redstone. I would not be playing Minecraft anymore if it wasn't for the Redstone. As much as I like to use my architectural knowledge to build stuff, redstone's what keeps the day-to-day grind going. I love building machines and just sitting there and watching it work and going, I did that.
Yeah. Same for me, honestly. It's super cool to have machines and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this season was the first one I built a storage that was basically an automated sorter. And that still goes down as a favorite redstone build, even though I didn't design it. But the fact that I used to spend tons of time sorting stuff into chests and stuff, now I just throw a shulker box into a machine.
Yeah.
Which I designed the shulker box drainer / breaker myself, which I was kind of excited about. But yeah, now I could just throw a shulker box in there and I can go walk away for like 30 minutes and come back and everything's perfectly sorted. And it's like, yes, that's so cool.
Everything in its place, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll have to try using automated sorters. I never do. I just have stuff. I have chests where I put my stuff, and just do everything manually. But yeah, I need to try that at least once.
The biggest downfall is the one I use. You have to keep every slot and every chest filled with something.
Yeah.
Which once you start getting things in place, it's not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. 2 is if there's a lot of people on the server, ticks get skipped, which means this machine I use uses sticks and just kind of pushes the sticks around to do the timing circuit.
Okay.
So if ticks are being skipped, then the sticks start clumping, and it messes up the timing circuit. And now I've got items stuck in the back of the machine instead of being put in chests. So normally I wait to make sure there's no one on the server, and then I run my machine. Usually it's not that big of a deal. But I also don't want to cause somebody else lag because my giant machine running.
Yeah.
So it works out the best that way.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's... Well, I've seen something that we might have in a very near future. But I've seen a sorting system where you don't need to have like one item of each in each chest. So or have every slot filled. And you can have different types of items in the same chest. It's just crazy. It's amazing, and I'm really looking forward to trying that out.
Yeah, you need to send me that because that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to know all about that because the hardest part of setting up this machine was creating the 4,000 named string I needed to put in every slot in the chest.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's another weird thing about Minecraft, though. So I named all the string at the same time, and they're all named exactly the same. Mm-hmm. But so instead of taking the string out of the chest, whenever I have a new spot filled with an item, I just take the string and stack it onto another piece of string in that chest. Mm-hmm. So that way, if I ever use all the items, I could still have a placeholder. I can cover that spot I just used up back.
Yeah.
String won't stack half the time.
What?
Even though, they're named the exact same.
That's weird.
They've only ever been in the chest.
What?
It's like, why are you not stacking? But sure enough, if I just kind of hover over other string and try to place it down, it'll find another string it can stack to.
That's weird.
At first I was like, well, can string just not stack past 16? And then I was just like, it was happening on number 8 in a stack, and I'm just like, okay, this is just crazy. But yeah, redstone quartz, or quarks is what I'm going to call it.
Well, some are fun, some are just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go into what do you don't like about redstone?
There's nothing that I don't like about redstone. There's one thing that I have mixed feelings about. That's quasi-connectivity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm... when you know how to use it and to work around it, it's alright, but what's the point really? Is it really necessary? That's kind of my feeling about that.
I'm the exact way. So, like when I was working on the timing circuit for my clock tower, I was using an observer to do a single tick on a piston.
Mhm.
So I just moving a redstone block so I could give a signal. And I ended up having to use comparators over the observer because powering the block was, instead of one ticking the piston, it was quasi connectiviting the piston to full power
Yeah.
and leaving it out there. I'm like, that's not the way redstone works.
Yeah. So
So yeah, I 100% agree. And it's one of the things I think Bedrock has right that Java doesn't. But at the same time, like you said, if you know how to work with it,
yeah.
it's also another game changer.
Mhm.
So,
Like
yeah, maybe
I don't really
not so much dislike.
yeah, I don't really remember when I actually took advantage of quasi connectivity, but I probably did at some point in some contraption. But it's usually more like something that I have to work around and to avoid when working with pistons or other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever knowingly used it. I'm sure I have used it because, as much as I like to yell "Redstone genius" when I figure something out, I am not that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's being used in several machines, and I just don't know it. I'm just like, oh, magic.
Yeah. That's what it usually comes up to.
Yeah, and now we're on to the improvements, or as you put, suggestions, where you have a nice long list and I have one item. So let's go through your list.
Okay. Well, I kind of had to read through the wiki first and, well, just to see how they categorize things, but there are 3 categories. So there's power, transmission, and mechanisms.
Okay.
So power is just ways to power to create redstone power from nothing. So I had a light detector, or any other name, kind of like a daylight sensor, but something that sends a signal equal to the light level on that specific block.
So basically, instead of using a daylight sensor, you could have a torch or another item, maybe a redstone lamp, and that would activate the light detector.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that better than the daylight sensor. Also because your power skill goes from 0 to 15, whereas the daylight nightlight detector, it's some weird obscure number now.
Yeah.
When you go to nighttime, it's like 11 or something.
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's not even the same scale. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. And since both redstone power and light levels scale from 0 to 6 to 15, I mean, it's cool. It's already the same scale, so it's ready to be implemented.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
I also added like daylight and inverted daylight sensors that work right. That could be fun.
As someone who's trying to design a clock based off daylight sensors, I agree.
Yeah.
My nighttime clock will always be wrong until they fix their stuff.
Yeah.
Because I am not building another circuit because Mojang messed up the code somewhere.
Yeah. And another suggestion for powering systems was reading comparator outputs from beds.
Ooh, that's so like the comparator would know that you're in bed?
Yeah, or when someone else is in a bed.
Ooh,
for some reason. Like, I don't know, if you want to trap a bed to prank someone or stuff like that. It's a very specific mechanics, but still it would be cool.
Well, I mean, think about villagers now sleep. So if you're able to read when they're sleeping, maybe you could, change access to their working areas or something like that.
Yeah, that's when we see that you are practical and I'm evil.
This is true. I am not one for the prankage.
Yeah.
Aubni is definitely for the prankage.
Yeah, depends on who.
Alright, so transmission.
Yeah, transmission. I mentioned already the one that sends increasing power. Another one that could kind of work in a kind of a similar way, but also kind of like a counter. So every time as long as it's powered, every time it gets a redstone signal in its input, it outputs an increasing power. So the power increases by 1 each time.
Okay.
So it could count like objects that fall through a string or a tripwire, or that activates the number of time that a pressure plate. Sorry, forgot the word. A pressure plate gets activated, or something like that. Yeah. Not sure what uses it could have, but that, like, I don't know, like counting points in a game, something like that. That could be fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my first thought was if you could set it for a random number, and when that number goes off, it dispenses something, or have it power to dispense something, would be a cool way to set up random prizes in mini games.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be cool, yeah. That could
Agreed.
be fun. Nice. I thought also of a component, kind of like the comparator, but that adds 2 redstone signals. Again, not sure why, but like that would be like you have 2 inputs. Like one is power 7 and one is power 3. The output is power 10. Not sure yet how that could be used, but that could be an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, I agree.
And one that I think would really help many things out, some components that mimic logic gates.
Yes.
So
this is the one I saw on your notes, and I went, yes, I want it.
Yeah, I've had to work with XNOR gates recently, and they take a lot of space, and it's kind of hard to... I mean, you can work around with those, but yeah, they take a lot of space. Having something, not necessarily each logic gate, but like more basic ones that you could assemble more easily, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I was learning how to use like XOR gates and NOR gates and all that stuff. At the same time, I was learning electrical circuits, and they are identical in the books.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to be like, okay, and like I'm looking at these variable frequency drives. That's what I do. I repair those things, and I'm going, oh, that's just a comparator and stuff. And the guys at work going, what the heck are you talking about? I go, shut up and let me work. This is how my brain does all this stuff.
You know you play too much Minecraft when you compare real life things to Minecraft components.
Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm going to be walking around with a box on my head and be like, this feels like home.
Yeah.
All right, you got mechanisms next.
Yeah, the mechanisms, a block that deals damage when powered.
Ooh.
Kind of like a light block or a redstone lamp, but instead of giving out light, gives out pain.
Lasers.
I didn't think of lasers, but yeah, that could be cool. I was thinking more like spikes or something like that, but yeah.
That's true.
Or like electric crates, like an electrified floor, something like that. That was the idea that I had in mind, but lasers would be nice. I mean, everything's better with lasers.
Of course.
Another one, I'm not sure if it really counts as redstone, but I counted it as such, fixing jukeboxes. We have jukeboxes, we have cool songs, and we can't automate anything with that. That would be fun. I don't know. Yeah.
I think the phrase you're looking for is WTF Mojang.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to have these songs play in the loop, or just start my jukebox and listen to a few songs, and when I'm tired, I just turn it off. I'd like that, to add that to the game.
It would be really cool if like you could have it so when you walked into a room through a tripwire hook or a pressure plate, it would randomly dispense a disc into a hopper, and that put it in the jukebox for you. And then whenever you reactivated that, as if you're walking out the room, the jukebox would spit out the disc into a hopper and then circle everything back around. So every time you walked into a room, you had some music playing.
Yeah.
Or even have a daylight sensor hooked up to that, so as soon as it turns daytime, it starts playing like these certain songs, and when it turns nighttime, it plays these darker songs.
Yeah. Or when someone sleeps in a bed that he's not supposed to, like you start playing the very creepy song with the... It's not even a song, but it's just like sounds of people running away. That would be cool.
Yes, I like
Creeping
that.
people out. Yeah. So, and the last one I had, I'm not sure if it's something that I would really enjoy, if it's easily doable, but rotating item frames or armor stands. So if you send power to an armor stand or an item frame, it would rotate the item. It could be cool for like shops or stuff like that, but
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, because those items can send signals, right? I'm not sure if you can take a comparator off an armor stand.
I'm not sure if you can. I don't think you can. I'm not sure.
It would kind of make sense if you put a comparator behind an armor stand, and the more armor you put on it, the more signal it put out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously item frames, we know about, you can rotate it, and that sends off a signal. So it would make sense that if you put power back into it, it would rotate too.
That could be cool, yeah.
It could be really cool.
Yeah. So those were my ideas.
And I agree with 99.9% of them.
What's
I
the
think
0.1%?
The ones I didn't understand.
Which one was that?
What was the adding instead of subtracting comparators?
Oh.
I'd have no clue how to use it. So.
Yeah.
Because I still can't do that. I can't do the subtract mode on comparators still.
Really? I can show you if you want.
See? Redstone genius.
That's me being a teacher. That's different. I can't stand someone not knowing something.
But yeah, so my improvement was a lot simpler, and I want an easier way to separate circuits. As of right now, the way I do it is you have to put them on two different Y levels, and then a block on top of another circuit to make sure it doesn't cross over. And it would be really cool if like you could lock redstone in a direction.
Yeah.
Instead, so like you put redstone down and it's in a straight line and you lock it. So if you put redstone right next to it, it can't cross over and touch. A way to isolate circuits. There you go. That's a much better way of saying it.
Yeah. That could be fun.
Bluestone or cobalt or whatever people want to call it would be the obvious way to do it. But yeah, I don't have as much improvements as aubni, but that's the one. Every time I'm doing redstone, I'm like, man, I wish I could do this.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be it for today's show.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much, aubni, for all your redstone suggestions.
Hey, my pleasure.
We didn't get to the survival mini games that we had listed down.
Maybe another day.
Maybe another day. Aubni has agreed that he would love to come back, so we could bring those back in.
Awesome.
Yeah, but cool. You want to go ahead and start to read us out?
Sure. If you like the show, you can share it with all your friends on social media. If you listen on Spotify, follow us. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Doing any of these really help the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with the show, send an email to podcast@rippleeffectsmp.com. Tweet us or join the Discord so you can talk with everyone else who listens to the show. Every link that we mentioned are in the show notes.
Yeah, this show has been brought to you by aubni and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it's not supposed to and not lost in a redstone maze. The amazing music you hear in the intro and outro was created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. Go drink your milk. Bye, guys.
See ya.